Snow-dusted Alpine peaks glisten under the first light of dawn, reflected in mirror-like lakes below. This is Switzerland, a land of soaring mountains, pristine waters, and vibrant cultural tapestry. Nestled in the heart of Europe, yet famously independent, Switzerland captivates with its stunning natural beauty and unique place in world affairs. In this documentary journey, we'll explore how a small neutral nation, known for its alpine vistas and precision craftsmanship, became one of the world's most prosperous and intriguing countries. From its foundation in legend and history to its modern innovation and diplomacy, welcome to an inspiring voyage through Switzerland. Switzerland's story begins over 7 centuries ago. In 1291, local leaders from the forest cantons of Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden formed an alliance, later known as the Federal Charter, pledging mutual protection and laying the founding document of the Swiss Confederation. Through the late Middle Ages and Renaissance, this confederation of cantons expanded its autonomy, fending off powerful neighbors. By the Peace of Westphalia, in 1648, European powers formally recognized Switzerland's independence from the Holy Roman Empire. The ideal of neutrality took root early on, but it was after the Napoleonic Wars that Switzerland's status truly solidified. In 1815, the Congress of Vienna not only fixed Switzerland's borders, but also formally guaranteed its permanent neutrality, a principle the Swiss have upheld ever since, avoiding involvement in foreign wars for the past 2 centuries. Over time, Switzerland evolved from a loose confederation into a modern federal state. A brief civil conflict in 1847 prompted a new federal constitution in 1848, unifying the country under a central government while preserving cantonal autonomy. This set the stage for Switzerland's stability and democratic tradition. In 1874, instruments of direct democracy, the referendum and popular initiative, were introduced, giving citizens unprecedented power over laws. Social progress, however, came slowly. Notably, Swiss women gained the right to vote at the federal level only in 1971, making Switzerland one of the last Western countries to do so. Throughout the world wars of the 20th century, Switzerland remained famously neutral, serving as a haven for refugees and a base for the Red Cross while guarding its own borders. It even sat out the founding of the United Nations, eventually joining as a full member only in 2002 after a public referendum approved the move. Key dates in Swiss history: 1291, traditional founding of the Swiss Confederation with the Federal Charter. 1648, Treaty of Westphalia recognizes Switzerland's independence from the Holy Roman Empire. 1815, Congress of Vienna guarantees Swiss neutrality and defines its borders. 1848, new federal constitution transforms Switzerland into a modern federal state. 1971, women in Switzerland obtain the right to vote in federal elections. 2002, Switzerland joins the United Nations after a nationwide referendum. From these roots of unity and neutrality, Switzerland grew into a stable democracy. Its historical commitment to self-determination, armed neutrality, and consensus governance laid the groundwork for the prosperous and peaceful nation we know today. The stage is set. Now let's discover the land itself, from towering Alps to serene valleys, that has shaped Swiss life and identity. Switzerland's geography is nothing short of spectacular. Although compact, about 41,285 square kilometers in area, the country is defined by dramatic contrasts in elevation and landscape. The Alps dominate roughly 2/3 of Switzerland's territory, forming a majestic spine of peaks capped with glaciers and snow. Here rise some of Western Europe's tallest mountains, like the Monte Rosa Massif, home to the Dufour Spitze, Switzerland's highest peak at 4,634 meters, and the iconic Matterhorn, its pyramidal summit piercing the sky. Yet in the north, gentle rolling hills and plains spread across the central plateau, where most Swiss live amidst farms and cities. To the northwest, the smaller Jura Mountains complete the trio of regions, with forested ridges and limestone cliffs. Despite its small size, Switzerland contains an extraordinary diversity of landscapes, from high alpine tundra to mild, almost Mediterranean microclimates in southern Ticino, where palm trees grow on the shores of sunlit lakes. Water is everywhere in this alpine nation. Switzerland boasts over 1,500 lakes, earning it the nickname Europe's Reservoir for holding about 6% of Europe's fresh water. From the vast blue expanse of Lake Geneva, Lac Léman, the largest lake, shared with France, to the tranquil waters of Lake Lucerne winding below mountain peaks, these lakes are integral to the scenery. Rivers born in Swiss glaciers flow out in all directions. The Rhone westward to the Mediterranean, the Rhine north to the North Sea, the Inn, Danube Basin, eastward, and the Ticino Po, south to the Adriatic. At thundering Rhine Falls, near Schaffhausen, Europe's largest waterfall by volume, one can feel the raw power of this water wealth. Switzerland's climate varies with altitude and region, mild and temperate on the lower plateau, but turning to eternal snow and ice atop the highest Alps. In southern Ticino, one finds a mild climate with Italianate flare palm-lined promenades in Lugano or Locarno, where the Alps meet subtropical vegetation. Meanwhile, high in mountain villages, winters are long and snowy, and skiing is more a lifestyle than a sport. Amidst this natural splendor, the Swiss have worked to preserve the environment through parks and sustainable practices. The country's only national park, in the Engadine region, protects alpine ecosystems of marmots and ibex. Countless other nature reserves and UNESCO World Heritage Sites, such as the Jungfrau Aletsch Glacier region, highlight the commitment to conservation. Whether gazing at a turquoise lake backdropped by craggy summits, or hiking a flower-strewn meadow with cowbells echoing in the distance, one quickly realizes that Switzerland's natural beauty is its national treasure and a source of inspiration and pride for its people. Switzerland's rich culture is as varied as its landscapes. Uniquely, this nation has 4 official languages and multiple distinct cultural regions living in harmony. The majority of Swiss, about 62 to 66%, speak Swiss German, a collection of Alemannic dialects, as their native tongue. In the Western cantons, roughly 23% of the population speaks French, giving that region, Romandie, a Gallic flair. In the sunny south, Ticino and parts of Graubünden, about 8% speak Italian as their first language. And tucked away in the southeastern mountains of Canton Graubünden, a small but proud minority, around 0.5% speaks Romansh, a rare Romance language, descended from Latin. This linguistic mosaic means that traveling just a few hours in Switzerland can feel like visiting different countries, from greeting someone with Grüezi in Zurich, German-speaking, to bonjour in Geneva, French-speaking, or buongiorno in Lugano, Italian-speaking. Many Swiss are at least bilingual, and English often serves as a friendly bridge between language groups. German, or Swiss German dialects, is spoken by about 66% of the population in central and eastern Switzerland, for example, Zurich and Bern. French is spoken by about 23% in western Switzerland, the Romandie region, for example, Geneva and Lausanne. Italian is spoken by about 8% in southern Switzerland, Ticino and southern Graubünden, for example, Lugano. Romansh is spoken by about 0.5% in parts of southeastern Graubünden, an ancient Latin-derived language. Despite these differences, a strong shared national identity has emerged, often summarized by the motto, unity, not uniformity. Swiss culture highly values community, consensus, and a certain reserved friendliness. Local traditions and festivals remain vibrant in each region. In Alpine villages, you might hear the call of an Alphorn echoing across a valley, or enjoy the multi-part harmonies of yodeling, folk arts that evolved as means of communication and entertainment for herders and villagers. Every autumn, towns hold Alpabzug festivals when cows, crowned in flowers and bells, are herded down from mountain pastures. In the Catholic heartland, elaborate carnivals, such as the famous Basel Fastnacht, erupt before Lent with masked parades, fife and drum music, and satirical costumes, so culturally significant that Basel's carnival is recognized by UNESCO as intangible heritage. Each canton and even village has its own customs, from wrestling competitions, Schwingen, in the Bernese Oberland to wine harvest fetes in the Lake Geneva region. Nationally, Swiss National Day on August 1st is celebrated with bonfires, Alphorn performances, and fireworks, commemorating the legendary 1291 founding pact. Food and drink are another cherished part of Swiss culture. Cheese and chocolate might be Switzerland's most famous culinary gifts to the world, and they are beloved at home, too. Think of hearty fondue, a pot of melted cheese shared communally, or raclette, where one grills cheese and drapes it over potatoes. Perfect winter comfort food. Each region produces distinct cheeses, Gruyere, Emmental, Appenzeller, and more, and wines. The terraced vineyards of Lavaux above Lake Geneva produce excellent whites. Swiss chocolate needs no introduction. The Swiss perfected milk chocolate in the 19th century, and brands like Lindt, Toblerone, and Nestlé are synonymous with quality. In fact, the Swiss are the world's top chocolate consumers, eating about 8 to 9 kilograms of chocolate per person each year, a sweet testament to their passion for the product they helped popularize globally. Underpinning this cultural richness is a strong sense of community and direct democracy. Citizens regularly gather to vote on local issues at the commune or cantonal Landsgemeinde, open-air assemblies, or via referendums, reflecting a tradition of participation and civic responsibility. Tolerance and respect are core values. The Swiss have long balanced their linguistic and religious diversity, Catholic and Protestant cantons, through compromise and federalism. The result is a country where tradition and modernity coexist gracefully, where medieval city streets host cutting-edge science festivals, and where folk music concerts can be as packed as electronic dance parties in Zurich. This diverse cultural mosaic makes Switzerland endlessly fascinating, a place of Heidi and high-tech, Alphorns and art museums, where every valley and city adds a different tile to the national mosaic. How does a country with few natural resources become one of the richest on Earth? Switzerland's economic success is a product of skilled craftsmanship, innovation, stability, and a bit of legendary Swiss precision. Despite its small size, Switzerland boasts a highly developed, diversified economy with one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world, around $90,000 to $100,000 in recent years. At its core, the Swiss economy is powered by a mix of high-value services and specialized manufacturing, much of it known worldwide for excellence. One pillar is the financial industry, centered in Zurich and Geneva. Swiss banks have long been synonymous with security and confidentiality, attracting wealth from across the globe. Today, banking, insurance, and financial services account for roughly 9% of Switzerland's GDP and employ about 200,000 people. Institutions like UBS and Credit Suisse, now merged into UBS as of 2023, manage trillions in assets, while Swiss Re and Zurich Insurance are giants in insurance. The stability of Switzerland, politically neutral with sound monetary policy and the Swiss franc as a strong currency, has made it a global financial safe haven. Swiss bankers famously safeguarded assets through turbulent times of war and peace, not without controversies, as mid-1990s investigations into dormant era accounts showed. Today, strict banking secrecy laws have softened under international pressure, but Switzerland remains a top global financial center. Walking down Bahnhofstrasse in Zurich, lined with elegant bank headquarters, one senses the concentration of financial influence. This sector also underpins Swiss innovation by funding enterprises and providing stability for investment. Equally renowned is Switzerland's manufacturing and craftsmanship sector, especially its high-end niche industries. The country is perhaps most celebrated for its watchmaking. Swiss watches are more than just timekeepers. They are works of art and engineering carried on the wrists of presidents, royalty, and enthusiasts worldwide. From the luxury of Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Omega to the innovation of Swatch, the Swiss watch industry has conquered the world with high-quality products and focuses primarily on the luxury segment. In terms of value, Switzerland is the world's largest exporter of watches, even though in units it produces far fewer watches than cheaper competitors. Each year, Swiss watch exports exceed 20 to 25 billion Swiss francs, around 4% of Switzerland's GDP. The industry thrives in towns like La Chaux-de-Fonds and Biel, where generations of skilled artisans craft mechanical movements with microscopic precision. A single Swiss timepiece can involve hundreds of tiny components and months of meticulous assembly. Small wonder Swiss-made watches are a byword for quality. This tradition dates back to the 16th century, when Huguenot refugees in Geneva brought watchmaking expertise. Today's Swiss watches marry tradition with cutting-edge technology and remain highly sought after, proof that even in the digital age, craftsmanship retains its value. Another heavyweight of Swiss industry is the chemical and pharmaceutical sector, anchored in Basel, home to pharma giants like Novartis and Roche. Switzerland is a world leader in pharmaceuticals and biotech, producing everything from life-saving cancer drugs to vitamins. In fact, the chemicals and pharmaceutical industry is Switzerland's largest export sector, accounting for about 50% of total exports and about 7% of GDP. This is astonishing for a country of 8.7 million people. Swiss pharma companies have global reach. Novartis and Roche routinely rank among the top healthcare firms worldwide, known for innovations in oncology, immunology, and diagnostics. In labs across the country, scientists continually develop new therapies, benefiting from Switzerland's strong intellectual property laws and links between academia and industry. This focus on research means Switzerland files a high number of patents per capita. It's often ranked at or near the top of global innovation indexes. Chemical companies like specialty chemical maker Sika or flavor giant Givaudan also thrive, building on Switzerland's long tradition of chemistry. Recall that in 1868, Swiss chemist Alfred Escher helped found ETH Zurich. The synergy of knowledge, quality, and precision has made Swiss pharmaceuticals and chemicals indispensable to the world. And then there is chocolate, a small part of the economy in numbers, but an outsized part of Swiss identity and exports. Swiss chocolatiers, starting with pioneers like François-Louis Caillère, Daniel Peter, and Henri Nestlé in the 19th century, invented milk chocolate and refined conching techniques to create the smooth texture we love. Brands like Nestlé, the world's largest food company, based in Vevey, Lindt and Sprungli, and Toblerone, shaped like the Matterhorn itself, carry Swiss chocolate to every corner of the globe. The Swiss domestic sweet tooth is notable. They consume nearly 9 kilograms of chocolate per person annually, the highest per capita consumption in the world. While chocolate and cheese are often what tourists seek, other Swiss exports are equally world-class specialty machinery and precision instruments. For example, Swiss firms make high-tech industrial robots and medical devices, as well as famous Swiss Army knives, Victorinox, and luxury goods. Agriculture is relatively small, about 3% of GDP, but Swiss farmers produce high-quality dairy, beef, and produce, often in challenging mountain terrain subsidized, to maintain rural communities and landscapes. Switzerland's economy is characterized by high productivity, low unemployment, and a skilled workforce. Small and medium enterprises, many family-owned, form the backbone, often excelling in niche markets, a concept known as hidden champions. Stable governance and low corruption encourage business, while a collaborative labor culture with frequent apprenticeships and strong vocational training ensures a pipeline of talent. The country also benefits from strategic international ties. It isn't in the EU, but is tightly integrated through bilateral agreements, and its central location makes it a trading crossroads. As a result, trade is essential. Exports of precision goods and services drive growth, and Switzerland typically runs trade surpluses. The Swiss franc is a safe currency, sometimes too strong for exporters' comfort, but it reflects global confidence in the economy. In summary, Switzerland's major industries, finance, precision manufacturing, watches, machines, pharmaceuticals, and premium foods all share a common thread: quality and trust. Whether it's a bank account, a watch movement, a dose of medication, or a bar of chocolate, the world has learned that anything Swiss-made promises reliability. That reputation has been carefully built over generations and remains Switzerland's secret economic ingredient. The prosperity visible in Swiss cities and the well-kept villages is not an accident. It's the result of a long-term commitment to excellence, innovation, and prudent management. And underlying it all is a political system that provides remarkable stability and direct input from its citizens, to which we turn next. Switzerland's political system is often cited as one of the most stable and unique in the world. It is a federal republic composed of 26 cantons, each with considerable autonomy, and it operates under a framework that blends direct democracy, federalism, and consensus-driven governance. The federal government is deliberately collegial and power-sharing. Instead of a single powerful president or prime minister, Switzerland has a federal council of 7 members, drawn from multiple parties who collectively head the executive branch. The presidency rotates annually among them, an arrangement that embodies the Swiss preference for balance and avoidance of personality cults. No one party dominates. Indeed, since 1959, the magic formula arrangement traditionally distributed federal council seats among the leading parties to ensure broad representation. This consensus model has yielded decades of political continuity and cooperation. Perhaps the most remarkable feature is Switzerland's direct democracy. No other country holds as many referendums as Switzerland. Swiss citizens have the right to vote on a vast array of issues at federal, cantonal, and local levels, typically 4 times a year. Through mandatory referendums, any change to the Constitution or major international treaty, like joining the EU or NATO, must be approved by voters. Through optional referendums, citizens can challenge laws passed by Parliament by gathering 50,000 signatures to force a nationwide vote, and via popular initiatives, 100,000 citizens can petition to amend the Constitution, triggering a vote on their proposal. These tools mean that the populace directly shapes policy, from deciding on infrastructure projects to social issues to foreign relations. For example, it was a 2002 referendum that finally brought Switzerland into the United Nations, and another in 1992 that kept it out of the European Economic Area. The system demands compromise. The government often crafts moderate proposals to ensure they survive the gauntlet of public approval. It also fosters civic engagement. Political debate is a national pastime, and voter turnout, while not huge, often 40 to 60%, reflects a core of actively involved citizens. Direct democracy can lead to slow decision-making, but the Swiss seem to accept this trade-off for the sake of inclusion. It's governance by the people in a very literal sense. Another cornerstone is the concept of federalism. Each canton, and even communes at the local level, has its own constitution, parliament, courts, and government for local matters like education, healthcare, and policing. The cantons predate the Federation. Remembering Swiss history, the country was once just an alliance of sovereign cantons. Even today, they fiercely guard their prerogatives. This results in variations. For instance, school systems or tax rates differ from one canton to another. The federal government in Bern handles national affairs, defense, foreign policy, national roads, etc. But many policies are implemented locally. This decentralization allows solutions tailored to each region and helps maintain harmony in a multilingual nation. It also means that the capital Bern often governs by consensus and consultation, since the cantons have representation in the upper house of parliament, the Council of States, and influence national decisions. The federal structure and direct democracy together ensure that power truly resides with the people and their local communities, preventing over-centralization. Of course, no discussion of Swiss politics is complete without neutrality. Swiss neutrality is almost legendary, a policy of staying out of others' conflicts that has been upheld for centuries. Switzerland has the oldest policy of military neutrality in the world, dating back to the early 16th century. After a bitter defeat to the French at Marignano in 1515, the Swiss Confederation largely eschewed expansionist wars. This stance was internationally formalized in 1815, as noted, and since then, Switzerland has not participated in any foreign war. During both world wars, Switzerland remained neutral, armed and vigilant, but not taking sides. Surrounded by turmoil, it became a protective island. It mobilized its army defensively, took in refugees, though controversially turned away some during W2, and was home to espionage and diplomacy. The image of Switzerland as an impartial refuge took hold. The Swiss like to say their neutrality is armed neutrality. They maintain a military with mandatory conscription for Swiss men, ready to defend their own territory, but they will not join military alliances or engage in combat abroad. This stance persisted through the Cold War. Switzerland was not part of NATO or the Warsaw Pact, and even today it is not a member of the EU, preferring bilateral agreements to formal integration. Neutrality does not mean isolation, however. In practice, Switzerland pursues active diplomacy and humanitarian engagement, precisely leveraging its neutral status. The country often serves as a mediator in conflicts, offering the good offices of Swiss soil for peace talks and acting as a protecting power for countries that cut diplomatic ties. For example, Switzerland has represented U.S. interests in Iran for decades. Bern hosts numerous international treaties as custodian. The Geneva Conventions for warfare, for instance. Neutrality also led Switzerland to famously host the League of Nations in Geneva after WWI. Yet, Switzerland's strict interpretation of neutrality made it slow to join the United Nations, only in 2002, as mentioned. Even within the UN, Switzerland maintains independence. For example, it is not part of EU foreign policy positions and only applies sanctions mandated by the UN, not unilateral ones, with notable recent exceptions like joining sanctions against Russia in 2022, which was seen as a surprising deviation from strict neutrality. The Swiss also take neutrality beyond military affairs. It's almost part of the national psyche to be neutral arbiters, be it in international disputes or even in fostering dialogue at home between linguistic groups. In summary, Switzerland's political system is defined by stability, citizen participation, and neutrality. It is a model that stands out globally, highly decentralized, famously democratic, and steadfastly neutral. This system has kept Switzerland peaceful and prosperous, avoiding extremes and political upheavals that many other countries experienced. The direct say of the people in governance has arguably helped Swiss society accept major decisions since they made them, and the consensus style has integrated diverse groups into one nation. The neutrality policy, while sometimes questioned, has allowed Switzerland to punch above its weight in diplomacy and to avoid the destruction of war on its soil since the 19th century. As we turn to Switzerland's role on the global stage, we will see how these political choices enabled it to become a hub of international cooperation and humanitarian efforts. For a neutral country that often stands apart, Switzerland plays an outsized role in global affairs. In fact, one might say neutral Switzerland is at the center of international diplomacy and cooperation, literally so in Geneva, which is one of the world's great international cities. Geneva, on the shores of Lake Geneva, hosts around 40 international organizations and some 180 diplomatic missions. It was the seat of the League of Nations, and today is the home of the United Nations office at Geneva, UNOG, the UN's second-largest center after New York. Walking through Geneva's International Quarter, you'll find the Palais des Nations, the grand old League of Nations palace now used by the UN, the World Health Organization, the International Telecommunications Union, the World Trade Organization, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the International Labor Organization, and many more. The flags of the world line Geneva's streets. It's here that critical negotiations on disarmament, human rights at the UN Human Rights Council, and refugee crises take place. That such a concentration of global institutions resides in Switzerland is a testament to the trust the international community places in Swiss neutrality and hospitality, as well as some historical happenstance and Swiss support. Geneva is truly a capital of global governance, where each year thousands of meetings try to solve the world's problems, often facilitated by Swiss efficiency and discretion. Equally famous is Switzerland's humanitarian tradition, epitomized by the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC. The Red Cross was founded in Geneva in 1863 by Swiss businessman Henri Dunant after he witnessed the horrors of war at Solferino. Dunant's vision of neutral volunteer care for the wounded led to the Geneva Conventions of 1864 and beyond, which formed the core of international humanitarian law. The Red.